Hi students, in the previous class we have discussed about Coulomb's law. Next topic is important aspects of Coulomb's law. So we know that according to Coulomb's law that electrostatic force F is directly proportional to the product of magnitude of 2-point charges. What is magnitude? It is a numerical value, so it's irrespective of the sign. So proportional to q1 and q2, that is the product of two charges, and it's inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the 2-point charges, and force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the two charges, that we have discussed in the previous section also. So this is the first important aspect. Second one is the force on the charge q2, which means we have two charges, one is q1 and another one is q2. Now the force acting on the charge q2 exerted by what? q1 is always lies along the line joining direction, which means the line which joins these two charges is always along this direction. Line joining two charges R1 to cap is the unit vector pointing from the charge q1 to q2, which means we have two charges, one is q1 and another one is q2. Now what is the direction of force? It along the line joining between the two charges. So now the force acting on the charge q2 due to oneness is along this direction, that is our F21 vector is along the direction of R12, that is the R12 cap 1 to 2, that you have to remember that line also. It's shown in the figure, it's a previous figure. Likewise the force on the charge q1, similarly it's act along this direction. The force on the charge q1 due to the q2 is acts along this direction, that is our F12 vector. What is the direction of F12? It's along R12 minus, this is, we know that this is our R12. What is R12 minus? It's opposite to that of R12 cap. So in physics the negative sign is always used to denotes the opposite direction. Okay, in the third case, in SI units, k equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So this is the constant value. The proportionality constant k is equal to 1 by 4 by epsilon naught, and the value is found to be 9 into 10 power 9 Newton meter square Coulomb minus 2. You have to remember this value because this value is always used in the problem also. So you should remember this constant value. Here epsilon naught, remember the term epsilon naught, it's a permittivity of free space. Okay, now we have to know about permittivity. What is permittivity? Ability to allow electric field lines, the medium which allow the electric field lines in free space. Free space is the space free from all the matter, is known as free space. Now what is your epsilon naught value? I need to find epsilon, mean epsilon naught is come to this side and k come to the denominator. Now epsilon is equal to 1 by 4 epsilon 1 by 4 by k. How to substitute all this value? We know that 4 and pi are constant, pi equal to 3.14, k 9 into 10 power 9 is a constant value. By substituting all this value we can get 8.85 into 10 power minus 12, and Coulomb square Newton meter minus 1, Newton power minus 1, meter power minus 2. Okay, you have to write this also. How do you write this? Epsilon naught, which is equal to F is equal to, how do you find this unit? F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r squared. Okay, now I need to find that epsilon naught. Then epsilon naught is equal to 1 by 4 pi f, 1 by 4 pi f, and q1 q2 by r squared. For q1 q2 is Coulomb squared, f Newton pi minus 1, because F is in the denominator, R squared, or the unit of R is meter, it is also in the denominator, so use minus sign, and its square is meter squared. In this way, that the expression will appear. So it is Coulomb square, Newton minus 1, meter minus 2. And the next one, the magnitude of electrostatic force between the two charges, each of 1 coulomb, separated by a distance 1 meter. Now I am going to find the magnitude of electrostatic force between two charges. The charges value is 1 coulomb. They are separated by distance 1 meter. The formula F is equal to 1 by 4 pi. What is the value of 1 by 4 pi? 9 into 10 power 9. So K instead of K we use 9 into 10 power 9, and Q1, Q2 we should substitute. Q1, Q2 is equal to 1 coulomb. So 1 into 1 divided by, they are separated by distance also 1 meter. So divided by 1 squared, which is equal to 9 into 10 power 9 Newton. This much amount of force between two 1 coulomb charges, they are separated by distance 1 meter. But practically it is a very large force, because imagine 1 ton is equal to 1,000. Okay, now 1000 into 10 power 6, which is equal to 10 power 9. So it is 1 million ton. So huge amount of force is almost equal to 1 million ton of force. So we always use a common unit like micro coulomb and nano coulomb only. We never use 1 coulomb charges in practice, because it produces a maximum force 1 million ton. That's why. And the next point is the SI unit. In SI units, Coulomb's law in vacuum takes the form F21 vector is equal to 1 by 4 epsilon Q1 Q2 by R squared R12 cap, that we know. But if that charges placed in a medium of permittivity epsilon, which means placed in medium. In previous cases we have discussed in that vacuum or free space, but here it is medium. So in that case epsilon naught is replaced by the term epsilon. Please notice these two. Here epsilon naught, here it is epsilon. When the charge placed in a medium, epsilon naught is replaced by epsilon. Since epsilon is greater than epsilon naught, because in a medium permittivity is always maximum. The force between two charges in the medium other than vacuum is always lesser than vacuum. Why? Because epsilon naught in denominator. If this value epsilon naught, here epsilon, this denominator is maximum, it reduces the numerator. So if the charge placed in medium, force of attraction or repulsion is always smaller. Now the relative permittivity, new term is relative permittivity. So relative permittivity epsilon R, which is the ratio of permittivity of medium by permittivity of vacuum. So this is our relative permittivity. But we know that in air or medium, anything, we can use epsilon or epsilon naught. But that epsilon is always smaller than this epsilon naught is always smaller than the epsilon, which means epsilon naught is always greater than 1. Okay, but in case of vacuum, that epsilon, in a vacuum epsilon becomes epsilon naught, right? So in vacuum both are getting cancelled, that value is 1. So in air or vacuum epsilon r is equal to 1, but all other medium epsilon r is greater than 1. Understood? The next point is Coulomb's law and Newton's law. Both are very similar. So Coulomb's law and Newton's law has same structure. Which means Newton's law F is equal to G m1 m2 by R squared. But here instead of G we use K. For m1 m2 here it's q1 q2, but distances for a Newton and a Coulomb both are used R. These two are same structure, which means Electrostatic force here, it directly proportional to the magnitude of point charges, but gravitational force is proportional to masses, product of two masses. So this is the difference. Even though they are having same structure, there is a difference between two forces. The gravitational force between two masses is always attractive, because any mass is always attracted towards the earth, but the Coulomb's force between two charges is depends upon the charge. They are same kind, they are repel. Different kind, they are attract. So it depends upon the charge, attractive or repulsive, depending upon the nature of charges. And the gravitational constant value is equal to G is equal to 6.67 into 10 power minus 11 Newton meter square kg minus 2. But in the case of Coulomb constant, 9 into 10 power 9 Newton meter square. What is Coulomb constant? K is equal to 9 10 power 9 Newton meter square Coulomb minus 2. But what do you understand from this? Notice these two value. K value, it's 10 power 9. But G value, it's 10 power minus 11. So K value is very much larger than G. So electrostatic force is always greater than the magnitude of gravitational force. So gravitational force is smaller. Okay, gravitational force smaller for smaller object only. But in the case of a celestial object like Earth, Moon, Sun, in that huge object, gravitational force is the weakest force. Only for smallest size object. So gravitational force between two masses is independent of that medium. If we place the object in a water or in any other medium, gravitational force is independent. The value is same. But if we place the charges, it depends upon that medium, because in that expression we have epsilon and epsilon different kinds of value. So if epsilon and epsilon naught is affect the force, but Coulomb constant is same for all over Earth. Okay, say for example, 1 kg of two mass are kept in air or inside water. Gravitational force between two masses, but the electrostatic force between two charges depends on the nature of the medium in which two charges are kept at rest, which means electrostatic force depends on medium, gravitational force is independent of medium, but one condition. What is that? Two charges should be in the rest position. If charges are moving, what will act? That another force is called as Lorentz force. You will study about Lorentz force in our chapter 3. Okay. The next point, the force on the charge Q1 exerted by the point charge Q2. So on a charge Q1 due to Q2. Okay, that F12 vector is equal to 1 by 4 epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R squared. Force is a vector quantity, so unit vector is R21 cap. See here F12 vector, here R21 cap. Okay, this is the direction of force. R21, what is R21? It's the direction from charge 2 to 1. So that is the force direction F12. The next is, but that R21, as I said, if the charge placed in this portion Q1 and here it is Q2, the direction of R12 is this, R21 is what? This. Okay, so we can say R12, R21, both are opposite direction. So R2, but the value is the cap. So the value is 1. Unit vector means the magnitude of vector is value. The magnitude of vector is 1, but direction, it gives the direction. So R21 is opposite to that of R12. So here we have a negative sign. Then F12 vector is equal to 1 by 4 epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. Here in that above expression we have R21 cap. R21 is equal to what? R12. So here we substitute R12 minus R12. So then taking the minus sign out, we get that relation F12 vector is equal to minus F21 vector. Therefore electrostatic force obeys Newton's third law. Every force has its equal and opposite force. hence proved. The expression for Coulomb force is true only for point charges. For a continuous charge distribution, Coulomb's law is invalid. But the point charge is an ideal concept. Why we say ideal concept? Because we can't pick a smallest charge. Okay, because the quantitation of electric charge we have discussed. However, we can apply Coulomb's law for two charged objects. Object containing the charge, we can apply the Coulomb's law, whose sizes are very much smaller than the distance of separation between them. As I said, for a point charge, the object size is very small, the charge size is very small than the distance of separation. So, in that similar type of object can be involved in that Coulomb's law of force. So in fact, Coulomb discovered his law by considering charged spheres in torsion pendulum as a point charge. So in a torsion pendulum which has two charges, so two charges are the separation distance is very large compared than this size, so they are taken as a point charge. The distance between the two charged sphere is much greater than the radii of a sphere. So this is a condition for point charge. Okay students, in the up to this class, important aspects of Coulomb's law is over. In the other class, we will study about the next problem. Thank you.